Hello, Geta Bulavinaka. Welcome to Pacific Level Up, episode 5. And I'm really excited today because we're talking about Melanesia, which is the part of the Pacific that has both the most languages and the most people, and is one that, especially outside of the Pacific, isn't as well known, as well appreciated as it should be. Now, Melanesia, as we can see on our map, is that big cluster of islands that runs from New Guinea in the west all the way to Fiji in the east, and from New Caledonia in the south all the way to like the Bismarck Archipelago, which is now part of Papua New Guinea. And one of the reasons Melanesia is so fascinating is because most Pacific people who live in the Pacific are Melanesians. And the biggest nations in the Pacific are in Melanesia. The biggest of all is Papua New Guinea, which has 8 million people. And if someone in New Zealand, for instance, says, well, why would you want to study the Pacific? Well, Papua New Guinea is nearly twice the size in terms of population of New Zealand. Then we've also got Fiji with its 1 million people. And then even a nation which is so little appreciated, like the Solomon Islands, is larger than all the other Polynesian nations excepting New Zealand, 650,000 people. And the thing that excites me as someone who really cares about the past is that Melanesia has the deepest past of all. Over 40,000 years of history in Melanesia, 40,000 years. So when people talk about the pyramids, that's like 3,000 to 4,000 years. That gives you an idea just how deep history is in Melanesia. The world's oldest civilizations, one of them is in Papua New Guinea. Lots of things to know and remember, and that's why I'm really excited to invite along a really good friend of mine, Professor Tarisi Sorovi-Vunidilo, who's a professor at the University of Hawaii. And she is going to take us through and tell us some of the things we really should know about Melanesia. Bula, Tarisi.
Bula Vinaka. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share some facts and information about the Melanesia region, where Fiji belongs, and that's where I'm originally from. So I'm very happy to share some key information and facts about this region. And the first one that I would like to share is to do with the geography. Yeah, the different types of islands, and many of our islands are volcanic, and also many of them have very rich forests, which adds into my next point on the rich biodiversity that is represented by this region. And some of this rich biodiversity includes the flora and fauna. And one good example is to do with the birds of paradise in Papua New Guinea, the Fijian eagle in Fiji, as well as crocodiles. Did you know that crocodiles do exist in some of these Melanesian islands in Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and parts of Vanuatu? The other point that I like to share is also did you know that Melanesia has the highest number of World Heritage Sites listed under UNESCO? And some of those, if I can list them, number one is the Cook Agricultural Site. It was the first ever World Heritage Site from the Pacific that was listed under the UNESCO World Heritage listing, and that is the Cook Agricultural Site. The other one is the East Rennell, which is actually the largest raised coral atoll in the world that is found in the Solomon Islands. The other one is the Roimata domain in Vanuatu, the historical town of Levuka, which is the first capital in Fiji, and the other one is the longest continuous barrier reef in the world, and that is found in New Caledonia. Isn't that amazing? That all these nations in Melanesia have got the well-renowned, recognized World Heritage Sites in the world. The other point that I want to share is to do with Kava. Melanesia is Kava Central, okay? Did you know that there are 80 species of Kava alone in Vanuatu? And out of all the species of kava, we have 13 in Fiji. And of course, the Fiji kava is the best in the world. What else can you say? And then to compare to my Polynesian cousins, I have to do this. In Tonga, they only have 6, and Samoa 4. So I just thought I mentioned that Melanesia still has the highest number and the best kava in the world. The other point that I want to share is on mining. Many of these islands in Melanesia have got a lot of natural resources. Some of these natural resources that you only maybe hear in maybe Africa and in Europe, maybe in the Americas. But did you know in Melanesia, we have gold, we have copper, we have nickel, and even gas. Okay, so that makes our mineral resources so rich and vast in the region of Melanesia. Did you know that we are the only nation in the Pacific that has got a gold medal in the Olympic Games? And that was in Rio, in Brazil. So we have got it. The other islands are still catching up. And speaking of that, the Melanesian region has so much talent in rugby, well, rugby league and rugby union, okay, and also soccer, as well as not forgetting our girls, netball. Netball is also well represented all around the world, and we really thank a lot of our young girls in the Melanesian region representing us around the world. Yeah, did you know that even in the island of Papua New Guinea, one of the Melanesian islands in the Pacific, they have more than 800 languages in one country. That doesn't even count the dialects, only 800. Apparently, I've been told that 800 number is actually low. It's supposed to be more than 1,000. So that is amazing. In Vanuatu, more than 100 languages even. So including all of that and other islands is more than 1,000, definitely, languages alone in the region. The other fact that I want to share is to do with the big man society. Now, in other parts of the world, in the Pacific, many of the chiefs or the leaders, you have to be born into the family of being a chief. It has to be in your blood, okay? And it's passed down generations over generations. In Melanesia, it doesn't happen. They have one that is called the big man society, in which a person can call himself one, wake up in the morning, you have lots of pigs, lots of wives, lots of money, lots of cars, and the list goes on, and you can call yourself a chief. And that is very unique in this part of the world, in which it is well known within the field of sociology, the field of anthropology, and which is called the big man society. And it's found only in Melanesia. The other point that I want to share is to do with the hair. Okay, so I'm actually rocking the hair, and this is what is called buininga in Fijian. And across Melanesia, we really, really represent our amazing, beautiful afros like this, okay? And the hair history of our people in Melanesia even adds to the amazing, rich array of headdresses in museums. So if you go to museums in Europe, in Australia, in New Zealand, many of the headdresses made of feathers and so colorful are all from the Melanesian region. So we're very proud of our hair traditions, and I am proud of mine too. Melanesia is the region in the Pacific that actually hosts the whole 3 regions of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. So we have Polynesian outliers, we also have Micronesians. For example, in Fiji, we have an island called Rambi, and we also have an island called Kioa. So the islanders of Kioa were originally from Tuvalu, and the islanders in Rambi were originally from the Ocean Islands in the Republic of Kiribati. So isn't that amazing that in this region, we're able to open our hearts and our geographical spaces and our islands with other islanders, such as Polynesia and Micronesia. Last but not least is to do with cultural traditions, such as tapa making, tattooing, and pottery making. They are still being done in our region. Now, many other parts of the Pacific, a lot of these art forms have either gone extinct or has died. But in Melanesia, if you come there, a lot of our ladies are still weaving those beautiful mats, making those beautiful tapa, making those beautiful pottery, and the tradition of tattoo is still alive till today. Vinaka Vakalevu.
Vinaka Vakalevu, Dr. Tarisi. Thank you so much for bringing your knowledge and making all our lives more joyous through your time with us. Join us next time on Pacific Level Up, where I'm going to do Polynesia 101 to follow up all those beautiful things we learned today from Dr. Tarisi.